Hello and welcome back to another Lost in the World video. We are discussing the Lost Ark PTR changes for the Artillerist because I've played billions of hours of the Artillerist, so I feel like I'm in a good place to talk about it. And the huge change that's coming to the Artillerist for endgame content, which makes him a lot more viable. Without further ado, let's go. Okay, so we've got a bunch of changes to some skills. What they've generally done here is given a small damage boost to the Artillerist to bring them in line with other classes, and also they've shifted the stagger around on different skills. There's no nerfs, there's generally horizontal buffs and some slight vertical buffs, as well as a massive quality of life change to the Artillerist that actually makes them super viable in the end game content, the hardest content in the game. We'll discuss that in a minute, but let's just discuss what we've got in front of us now, which is basic skill changes. A lot of the positional effects have been removed from a lot of skills, which means that you can use skills such as Hitmaster, which gives a general buff, and Hitmaster is quite commonplace in a lot of Artillerist builds. So these changes to Gatling Gun, Flamethrower, Gravitational Explosion are all pretty solid. Later on, when we're getting relic accessories and we can run more engravings, this is going to be something that really increases in value. Moving forward, we've got changes to Homing Barrage and Air Raid, as they're called in the EU version. The translation here is Missile Bombing and Aerial Bombardment, but from the icons you can probably tell which skills they are. Now what they've done here is any skill that has a large delay on it, they've removed the stagger from that skill and they've shifted the stagger to quicker attacking skills. So here, Owning Barrage has the stagger reduced to lowest, as does Air Raid, and they have been shifted to Multiple Rocket Launcher, Napalm Strike, Wield, as it's called here, and Forward Fire. That all in all is a big buff to the Artillerist. If you've got a stagger gauge and need to quickly hit them with a stagger, you can quickly use some skills that are much quicker than Owning Barrage and Air Raid and get the stagger off. So excellent changes. Now Forward Fire has had counter-attack effect added to it, which means actually you get a second counter-attack because you get counter-attack from Napalm Strike and now you're also getting it from Forward Fire. Another great change, meaning that you don't have to choose Napalm if you don't want to. You can actually, if you want to use Forward Fire, use that and get a counter-attack. I use both anyway, so I'll be getting two counter-attack skills, which is really, really nice. Moving forward, with a general look at the PTRs, that they're trying to get players to maybe try out the other Awakening skill that isn't used as much as the popular one at the moment. So they've increased the heavy turret health to 300%, meaning it can last a lot longer. I still feel like the turret is a little bit RNG, but you know, never know. This change might make all the difference. I haven't played it. What do I know? Here's the big change though, and this is the huge buff to the Artillerist. Identity Gauge skill, the Z skill, when you go into like your seated gun mode, basically it's been changed so that you can use your evasion maneuver, your spacebar, your jump, whatever you want to call it. It's called mobile device here. I think that's a weird translation, but you can use it in shelling mode, and the shelling mode is immediately cancelled when you use your jump key or your dash key or whatever you want to call it. Also, if you're caught in a silence debuff, like some mechanics in bosses, they have a silence debuff, you can still use the release skill and get out of your artillery mode. This is massive. It means you are not going to be costing lives if you get unlucky and you use your Z skill and suddenly the boss starts a mechanic. You can get out of there, get out of dodge and stop a wipe, which is fantastic. It means people will be a lot more willing to take Artillerists into certain endgame content that will be coming to the Western release of Lost Ark in the near future. On top of that, you can use time stop potions, which is massive. Again, when it comes to certain mechanics and certain raids coming further down the line, really, really useful. And finally, some quality of life stuff. Now you've got the firepower gauge at stage 3. There'll be a much clearer indication of the firepower gauge, how long it has left, and when it's about to end. This will be a lot more intuitive, which is excellent because I really hate having to look at the tiny little icon above my health bar. This will now no longer be the case. We can actually have a clear management of level 3 of firepower gauge, which I absolutely love. Then we finally got the W skill on the not the Awakening skill, on the Z skill, the barrage skill or whatever it's called, the shelling mode skill. Basically they've increased the range of it massively, which is excellent. They've increased the speed it takes to attack from when you press W. As you know, right now there's a big delay on it. Sometimes that delay can lead you to pressing it twice and therefore losing the cooldown. And they've also reduced the duration of the attack by about 30%. Now what's not clear, and I'm hoping maybe a Korean player can maybe drop a comment, but have they condensed the damage of that into that reduced duration of attack? Is that reduced duration of attack actually an animation reduction? So actually the attack comes out quicker, but it lasts for the same amount of time. It's not very clear in the wording there, in the translation. I believe that actually what they mean by reduced duration of the attack is that they reduced the an animation of the attack actually, and that is actually again buff to that skill. All in all, developer comments, Blaster has improved some usability of the bombardment mode, as there are some inconveniences when performing some content attacks due to various restrictions in the state of bombardment mode. So that's talking about being kind of glued in place. In addition, for the blaster skills that are vulnerable to the counter-attack patterns, i.e. the ones that take a lot of delay, of some monsters that are activated due to the accumulation of neutralization values, the neutralization values have been readjusted overall. I think that's a wonky translation, in all honesty. In the case of blasters employing the firepower enhancement grade engraving, the one that everyone uses, the damage of general skills has been raised because it shows a rather low level of average damage, even considering the high stability. By stability, they mean the kind of constant damage that an artillerist can put out. So yeah, all around great changes. I've got no complaints whatsoever. I love the shifting of Stagger to quicker attacks and quicker skills. I love the mobility change, that is massive for me. Love that, it means I'll be less scared of using that skill in the game content, which is really important because it puts out a lot of damage and it's a huge part of the kit. So fantastic as well. All around, no nerfs, all nice little buffs, some slightly like horizontal buffs, some small vertical buffs, but I don't think artillerists will complain at all about these changes. They're probably very, very happy. I'm happy. My boy is nice and safe. Thank you for watching. Take care. What do you think about those changes? I did want to go into other classes because I haven't put a huge amount of time into other classes. I do have a gun lancer at 1370 and I'm currently leveling a paladin and I'm going to be leveling a landmaster all the way up to tier 3. But really to discuss the ins and outs of these changes, I don't really feel that would really be my place right now. But for the blaster, I know this guy inside out. So yeah, take care. Thanks for watching. And yeah, drop a like. It helps. Peace.